Good morning, everyone. Beth Combs here with Bethy Combs and Canyon Community Yoga. Welcome to our Tuesday morning yoga class. We'll be kind of doing some gentle movement this morning and not a lot of inversions and kind of more resting poses and more kind of sinking into the poses. So you might want to grab some cushions or blankets. So I've got a couple of these blankets here. I'm going to grab my strap. I'm so excited about my new yoga room. I have everything I need in my room. And a bolster, or you could just use like a bigger cushion from your sofa or even like a decorative pillow. So lots of options there. And we'll go ahead and get started. Seated on our mat. I'm going to take my socks off in case I need to have some traction, but again, we'll be kind of resting. And so, one of the things about kind of our society in general is during the menstrual bleed, we have been taught most of our lives to just continue moving, going, doing, just pretend that you don't even have a bleed happening. And so, this practice is kind of the opposite of that. We're going to just kind of tune into our bodies, allow them to rest while having some gentle movement, and we it'll be different than the usual practice that I lead. Not that my usual classes are super energized either, but just something to consider and think about. So we're going to start in our seated cross-legged pose and get settled in and comfortable. And actually, I'm going to take just a second here. Turn off a couple things so they're not dinging all around. I'm sure you all are used to, like me, things always tend to go off when it's the least opportune time for that to happen. So we're sitting with our sits bones really rooted into the mat or whatever we happen to be sitting on. And our hands, you can place them in your lap if you'd like. You can place them palms down on your thighs. You can also flip them so the palms are facing up on the thighs. We'll lengthen out the crown of the head, up the spine and out the crown of the head. We're going to take 3 rounds of breath where we actually inhale through the nose and then exhale through the mouth, just to release any tension, either from last night or from the night before. So we'll take an inhale, last night or the day before, sorry. So we'll take an inhale through the nose and exhale out the mouth. 2 more, just like that. Make as much noise on the exhale as you need to. 1 more. Then you can close the mouth and you can begin breathing, inhale and exhale both through the nose. If you're feeling particularly anxious, I would encourage you to continue exhaling out the mouth though. You can close your eyes here. See if you can release any tension in your jaw. See if you can just kind of settle into your body this morning. Notice any sensations that come up. Do you notice any tension that you might be holding in certain areas? Do you notice any openness in your body or places in your body this morning? And then we're going to just add a little bit of gentle movement here. So we're going to take the right hand down next to our right hip. We'll bring the left arm up alongside the left ear, and then we'll fold over to the right. Maybe gaze up under that left arm. We'll inhale, we'll come back up to center, and we'll switch directions. So the left hand will go next to the left hip. We'll bring the right arm up alongside the right ear and then fold over to the left any amount. Maybe gaze up under that right arm this time. And just see if you can keep the sits bones, both of them are on the mat or on your cushion. Really getting a nice stretch in the right side body here in the psoas. We'll inhale, we'll come back to center. We're going to fold over our bent legs and just kind of rock from side to side. And we'll come back up and we'll switch the cross of the legs. So if your left leg is in front, you're going to put your right leg in front, and then we're going to take a little twist here. We don't generally want to do really deep twists during our bleed, but a little bit of twisting is just fine. So you might not want to go quite as far as you normally would. We're going to take the left hand onto the right knee. Inhale, sit up nice and tall. Exhale, use your abdominals to rotate yourself over, gazing over the right shoulder if your neck will allow it. We'll return to center and switch sides. So right hand on the left knee. Inhale, sit up nice and tall. Exhale, rotate over to the left. We'll gaze over the left shoulder this time. We'll inhale, we'll come back to center. You can close your eyes here, take a few breaths. And then we'll go ahead and come into our hands and knees or our tabletop position. Make sure that cushion is easy to grab. We'll be using it again here shortly. We're just gonna take some hip circles here and do some cat-cow. So we'll start with our cat-cow. Make sure our wrists are lined up under our shoulders and our knees are underneath our hips. We'll inhale and lift the forehead and the tailbone up towards the ceiling. See if you can release your forehead if it's scrunched up. And then exhale, pull the belly button in towards the spine. Inhale, lift the forehead and the tailbone up. Exhale, pull the belly button back. Inhale to come up. Exhale to pull back. And then take two more following your own breath at your own pace. And then we'll come back to center, and then we'll do some hip circles. So got a couple options here. One is to drop your seat towards your heels and then pull the hips forward, kind of like you're drawing an oval shape on the mat. The other option is a hula hoop, where you actually tip your tailbone up towards the sky and then down towards the mat. So maybe try each one and see what works best for you. You can do a little bit of both if you'd like. And then switch directions. And then we'll take our child's pose here. So a more supported way to do child's pose is to actually grab your cushion and you're going to widen your knees so that they're the width of your mat. You're basically going to sit on your cushion and then just fold over your bolster with your head to one side. Arms are kind of out in front of you. Not a lot of weight on your arms. Most of your weight should be either in your butt or where you're sitting or so. The menstrual bleed is a great time of the month to reflect back on this month. Think about things that went well, and also the things that maybe don't serve you and you would like to release them. And so the energetic idea of the bleed, the menstrual bleed, um, is a ritual of releasing and letting go. I used to dread this time in my cycle, but as I began to recognize that it was a ritual and that there was something beautiful about a consistent way that our bodies release energy, thoughts, people that no longer serve us, I've actually come to really look forward to this time of the as my opportunity to shed energy and layers that no longer serve me. Go ahead and switch sides with your head. So looking opposite direction now. You might notice your neck is a little more tense one direction for the compared to the other. See if you can just observe that without judging it. And then we'll bring ourselves back up off our bolster. And then if you happen to have a wall nearby, you might want to go ahead and move your yoga mat over to the wall. just to give your back a little bit more support. And if you don't have a wall, that's okay too. But try to grab your cushion to sit up on, or if you've got your blankets, you can use your blanket too. We're going to sit up against our wall here, and we're going to stretch our legs out in a V shape. Oh, and we need our cushion, our other cushion. So hopefully you have more than one cushion. And if not, you can just do this without the bolster too. Sometimes I have 3 or 4 blankets with me. So we're going to fold forward here. So if your hamstrings, the backs of your thighs are really tight, just bend your knees as much as you need to. Ideally, you would fold forward and rest your head on something. I'm going to actually grab my block to do that. But if you don't have anything to rest your head on, I would just sit upright. Just kind of wrap your hands around your cushion in front of you. And then slowly go ahead and bring yourself back up to your seated position. We're just going to place our hands next to our hips. This is where the wall is nice and handy. And we're just going to kind of press ourselves up nice and straight, like we're sitting up as straight as we possibly can, just using the floor to support us. And I will say, if you are someone who suffers from a very heavy bleed, that you don't actually want to do this pose. So I would just fold back forward to where we were before. Feel free to close your eyes here. Tuning into our bodies, noticing any tension, sending our breath there as we release that tension. And then we're gonna do some stretching on each side. So you can move if you've got a bolster, you can move it over to one side of your leg. And we're going to fold towards the left leg. Maybe you just rest your forearm. I like to have this cushion actually in my belly. Maybe you just rest the forearm on top of your block. Maybe you can reach all the way to the lower leg. So just kind of see where your right hip and your lower back will allow you to hold this pose. We're going to sweep the right arm up alongside the right ear and then fold over to the left any amount. So again, feel free to bend your knees if the backs of your thighs are tight. Maybe you can only go right here and that's fine. Just make sure both of your sits bones continue to stay rooted and connected to the mat. Flex both of your feet to help stabilize you. We'll inhale, we'll come back up to center, we'll switch sides. I love how I only seem to get a frog in my throat when I'm teaching yoga early in the morning. All right, so we're going to take our right elbow and our right forearm, rest it on our cushion, and then start to inch that out. Maybe to your lower leg, maybe to your cushion, further out away from your body. We're going to sweep the left arm up alongside the left ear and fold over to the right. Any amount. Again, keep those feet flexed to help us stabilize. Maybe gaze up under the left arm if you'd like. We'll inhale, we'll come back up to center. And we'll do one more pose here. So ideally, if you have two blocks, you could use those to support your knees. We're just going to bring the soles of the feet together and resting our legs here. So you can, again, sit up nice and tall if you'd like, or you can fold forward. Just gives a nice squeeze to your pelvic bowl, to your uterus. Just a gentle squeeze. I know I suffer from cramps a lot. They are getting better with time. And a lot of different supplements and work that I've been doing for a while. But I've always found this pose to be almost like a little hug for my for my uterus. So I find it's very nourishing. If you just find it's really just things are too uncomfortable, too swollen, you can always back it out. You can always just stay seated up against the wall. I always find I get a nice stretch in my low back when I fold forward, so that's one reason I like to do that. You can give yourself a little foot massage too if you'd like. And then bring yourself back up to your seated position. And then we're going to go ahead and lay down for our Shavasana. So if you've got socks, you can put those back on if you took them off. If you've got a bolster, you can place that, or a blanket, rolled up blanket, you can place that under your knees. I like to have a pillow under my head. And then I also like to take a folded blanket and place that over my abdominals and my pelvic bowl. And then just place your hands wherever it's most comfortable for you. I know with props, sometimes you have to kind of move your arms around a little bit to find a comfortable position. Just get whatever you need to allow your body to sink into your mat and into the floor as much as possible. So feel free to stay in this pose as long as you need to. And when you're ready, roll over to your right side and take a couple breaths here. And then use your left hand to push yourself up to a comfortable seated position. You can bring your hands together at heart center. Close your eyes here. I hope you find that this practice was nourishing and supportive for you as a more gentle practice anytime you need that or during your menstrual bleed. The compassion, the love, and the light in me honors the compassion, the love, and the light in you. Thank you for practicing with me this morning. Namaste. All right, so I hope that practice was supportive for you, and I look forward to seeing you next week. Bye for now. Have a great day.